Hello everyone, I'm Greg Raleigh. Welcome to It's Your Turn. On this show, or the upcoming shows, we're going to continue to bring professionals from different fields that will be able to offer information that you will be able to apply to your daily lifestyle to improve your health. We will be bringing in different guests. We have a veterinarian, several veterinarians. We want to find out more about the issue of dog health and why so many of our animals are becoming diabetic. We're bringing in a health cook. We usually do that all the time. We want to continue offering you foods and suggestions on how to make unhealthy foods healthy. What we want to do now is, before we go any further, I want to discuss some issues that have arisen in the past few months. I've noticed lately that I've seen a lot of people out at nighttime going to the movies, enjoying the city, where their kids are with them, and it's 10, 11 o'clock at night. Children between the ages of 6 and 11 should be getting 11 to 12 hours of sleep. Obviously, that's not going to occur if you're taking your child out to the movie or to a dinner or whatever. What I'm suggesting to you and asking you as a parent to remember is that children need sleep. If children do not get the proper sleep, things like vomiting, things like dizziness, unable to focus, obesity, these are proven results of development in children that result directly from not having enough sleep. So please remember, parents, that when you decide to take your child out for an evening dinner, keep in mind that their sleep is more important. We'll be right back.
It's harder whenever there's a bigger group. Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
Welcome back. A recent survey was done by the National Kidney Foundation in which they asked 900,000 professionals that, would you participate in a transplant donor program? And most of them said no, and so we want to know, why would you say no? And so what I decided was reach to the experts and let them explain to me the results of that survey, as well as how to get involved in the transplant and how this affects your diet, how it ties into improving your diet. So I want to introduce to you Tony Engler. Tony, nice for you to be here.
Greg, my pleasure.
Tony is Executive Director of the Ron and Joy Paul Kidney Transplant Institute at George Washington Hospital. We really appreciate the time for you to come here.
You know, I think it's so important that we have shows like this, because among the most important things we can do is educate the public about the problems of kidney disease. You know, we have in the district the highest prevalence of kidney disease in the United States.
Wow.
You know, we have I'd say even more than that, probably over 6,000 people now in the metropolitan area on dialysis.
Uh-huh.
We have probably 175 to 200 people waiting for a transplant, which includes more than just kidney. It can also include heart, liver, pancreas, and other transplants.
Uh-huh.
But I think the key is, what we want to see an increase in is the number of living donors, because it makes such an opportunity available for the individual who receives the transplant. You know, and why are people not willing?
Tell me
Well,
about that.
I think the first thing is, who do I ask? And then the second thing you go is, okay, I'm going to ask Uncle Bob.
Okay.
But what if Uncle Bob gives me his kidney and then he ends up having a health problem? You know, and then I'm going to be fine, and then he's going to need a kidney. So all of this ties together into why we have a problem in terms of encouraging people to be living donors. I think what has changed so dramatically over the last 10, 12, 15 years is the process for being living donors. Now it can all be done laparoscopically. It can be done relatively with a minimal amount of pain for the donor, and overnight the recipient feels like a brand new person. You know, in the metropolitan area where we have such a high rate of African Americans have 4 times the rate of kidney failure as do whites.
Yes.
Hispanics have twice the rate.
Right.
So if you are African American in this metropolitan area, you probably know someone who has been on dialysis. Clearly dialysis beats an alternative because, you know, the only alternative is death. But dialysis is a very hard treatment that deals with the entire family. It's a family issue. When you have to go 3 times a week to have dialysis, 4 hours at a time, and how you feel and how you don't feel, your quality of life certainly isn't what we'd like to see. So we're looking, if possible, to really have an opportunity to encourage individuals, number one, not to have kidney disease. And that's what shows like this are all about. You know, I know your particular interest, and you and I have talked about this several times, has to do with diet. You know, well, why do people have kidney failure or kidney disease in the first place? Number one, the highest incidence of kidney disease is caused by either diabetes or undetected and untreated high blood pressure. Nationwide, diabetes is a greater issue, but in the district, hypertension is greater. So it's twofold. You know, we can talk about your high blood pressure, but we also, so if we detect it, you also have to take your medication. And what we see is an ongoing situation where people, even when they know they're hypertensive, will make a determination, I'm not going to take my medicine. I don't feel good. You know, I felt better before. And diabetes, both of which, to your major concern that you always express to me, have to do with issues related to diet. You know, number one, and clearly we have a real problem with obesity. We have a problem with the diet. Diabetes is clearly something we can do something about. I mean, if you change your diet, you know, and it's not easy. Gosh, we all suffer from those situations where we gain weight, lose weight, gain weight. I'm not saying this is easy, but we're talking about your life.
Well, this has been great. Unfortunately, we're on a time limit, but what I would love to do is I want to dive into that survey.
Okay.
I want to dive into, so I'm going to ask you to come back sometime in the future, and this time we're going to approach that survey and try to figure out how to get more people, active donors, to register to be part of this program, because you know, you need to know that you can help out a relative or a friend, and it's not really going to put your health at risk. But these are the things that we're finding out in the survey. We're going to find out down the road. So, Tony, once again, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for being on the show.
Greg, it's a pleasure.
Okay, and we'll be back. Thank you.
Hart, what's going on?
I'm leaving.
Why? What did I do?
Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit.
Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just please, don't leave.
Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Welcome back. As I've said in earlier shows, addressing the issues regarding health of our pets is becoming an increasing issue that it's been brought to my attention, and I decided to continue reaching out people in the fields that could give me some insight, because this caught me off guard. So I want to introduce Dr. Lee Morgan of Georgetown Veterinary Hospital. Dr. Morgan.
Thank you, Greg.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
You and I have had many talks over the phone the past couple of weeks about this issue of our pets and the health issues they're facing because of the food. So start with me with basically, are you seeing this as an emerging problem? Is this something that's been going on?
Oh, yeah. We're basically, as the health issues related to nutritional problems in humans are being reflected in our pets. For instance, obesity.
Okay.
Obesity has been cited as one of the leading causes of morbidity in U.S. citizens. We're now seeing this transferred into people's pets.
Wow. Now, our pets, is this dramatically cutting down on the life of the pet?
Oh, I would think so. As the animals become overweight, There are many issues, metabolic,
Okay.
musculoskeletal, many health issues are related to this obesity.
Now, when you say, or when people come to your practice and they say, Doc, are you seeing, is it obvious, or do you see dogs that are obese? Are they overweight, or, you know?
Both, yeah, it is. And one of the problems that we have, of course, is that we're seeing our pets every single day. It's hard to see changes on a day-to-day basis.
Okay.
I see the dog, cat, especially, you know, maybe a few times a year. And so we weigh them every time, and, you know, visibly I can see them because it's a, you know, it's a point-to-point observation.
Right. Now, when you, what are some of the symptoms when you first have somebody bring a pet in? What are some of the symptoms you're seeing immediately that indicate there's a problem then with the foods?
Okay, so you talked about some of the problems that obesity can bring on.
Right.
For instance, diabetes.
Right.
And diabetes, we are seeing more of this, especially in cats, and it's directly related to the obesity issue. For instance, someone may come in with an overweight cat or was overweight, has noticed drastic weight loss.
Okay.
They'll say to me, Dr. Morgan, my cat is drinking a lot of water, is urinating copiously, and is eating a lot, but seems to be losing weight. So that would be, to me, a major indicator of diabetes. And diabetes, as in the rise in human people, it's in the rise in pets as well, directly because of the obesity problem.
If a pet refuses to drink, is that because they've drank enough, or is it because, their kidneys are shutting down?
It's sort of the opposite.
Okay.
Actually, dogs and cats especially, get most of their metabolic needs from the breakdown of the foods they eat. Okay, so they will drink a little, or they'll drink a moderate amount, and they'll get a lot of their water intake from their food. What people will start noticing is that a cat with, say, renal disease, and this is another one that we call, that we see an animal drink a copious amount of water, and then start urinating a lot. And this, especially when you see your cat or dog starting to lose weight now, precipitously, for no reason, he's not on a diet or anything else like that, that's an indication you should bring your pet to your veterinarian.
Okay, now, once you bring the pet in, what are three things, we know what are some of the symptoms, what are some of the suggestions you would say to a first-time customer of yours?
My first suggestion right now, obesity is a preventable problem. We have control over the portions that we can give our animals. We have control over what types of foods we can give our animals. And talk to your veterinarian about coming up with a good nutritional plan for your dog or your cat.
What does that include?
It includes a well-balanced diet, just as in humans. One that is based on the right amounts of carbohydrates, the right amounts of proteins, plenty of water, exercise, very important, just as in humans, just as in people. This is probably the first thing I would say.
I just think that most people, when they invest in a pet, take a pet on, they make these general assumptions about what to feed them.
Veterinarians do.
And veterinarians maybe too, but I don't think what you brought to the table and what you brought me in the past month of talking to you has been an eye-opener to me about how to better treat and better, help my pet out.
Right.
And it's amazing. So at the end, what about meats? Real fast. I know we got to go, but what about meats? Is it raw meat? Is it chicken? Is it cooked?
Again,
Does it matter?
Yeah, this is a good question, because there was in veterinary medicine, just as in human medicine, there are fad diets, and there was the fad of the raw diet. We don't know if this is really helping. Certainly, we are concerned with salmonella, even though dogs and cats may not be as susceptible to salmonella poisoning as we are, for instance. They're still excreting it. Okay, and there may be some problems with it. So there's still this question. I know some of my clients have used raw diets and had very good success. I tend to reserve it if I'm treating a specific disorder, such as a food allergy, skin allergies, these such of things, or if the dog has something we call inflammatory bowel disease, which is a gastrointestinal problem, and I've had some success with it as well. I can't go across the board and say, yeah, do a raw diet, don't do a raw diet. you want to tailor your dog's diet, your cat's diet to them specifically, just as you and I have different caloric needs, for instance. And talk to your veterinarian. This is the most important thing I can say. Have this discussion with your vet, talk up, and it's more about than just getting the vaccinations. You want to know what to feed, how much to feed, what is your animal's activity level, all these things. And it's just as individualized for your pet as it is for you.
Dr. Morgan, this has been very helpful.
Thank you.
And I knew talking to you over the past month that I would love this kind of conversation. And once again, I'm hoping you're willing to find some time in your hectic schedule, come back down to the studio,
love
and
to.
then let's take another topic dealing with our pets. Maybe I'll come to your veterinary hospital.
You're always
Right
welcome.
there. Okay. Dr. Morgan, once again, thank you for being on the
Thank
show.
you.
I appreciate
Thank
your time,
you
sir.
very
Okay?
much, sir.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education. So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour to show them that higher education means a brighter future. My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
You can be a reader, tutor, or mentor too. Take the pledge at liveunited.org/volunteer.
Do you wear this?
Welcome back. We had such response with Kevin Matthews about talking about how to improve the health of the dogs that we asked him to come back again and help us explain and go a little bit further because, time is limited. So we did that. We're going to do something different now. So, Kevin, thanks for coming back.
Anytime, man.
Now, this time, let's talk about some of the actual choices people should make to, for the health of the dog.
Right. So when you talk about choices, are you talking about types of meat or how to start if you're doing your own thing?
And we're talking about vegetables. Can dogs eat vegetables? Does it be steamed, raw?
Oh, yeah. Well, this is how that works. Vegetables have all the vitamins and nutrients in them already. So when you're cooking them, you're diminishing that.
Right.
So it's best to feed them raw, pulverized, like just grind them up.
Okay.
And then, once the dog eats them, they will take what they need, and obviously they'll go to the bathroom.
What about dairy? I hear people give their dog ice cream and stuff. Is that good for a dog?
I make frozen yogurt for
frozen
dogs. Now, the difference between milk and ice cream and yogurt is that milk doesn't have the bacteria that is what they need.
Right.
So while dairy is a little risky,
Okay.
that doesn't pertain to yogurt for dogs. And it's actually, they need that to help them. It's basically the same as having probiotics in your diet.
If you have a dog and you put a bowl of water by the dog and the dog refuses to drink it, does that mean the dog is sick or is the dog full?
It means the dog doesn't need it.
Doesn't need it.
They will drink when they need to.
Okay.
Dogs that are on a raw diet, usually, or handmade diet, they take less water in because there's water in the food content.
Okay.
As opposed to the stuff that you buy in the bag, it's been sitting there forever. It doesn't have any water in it. So, and it's very abrasive in the system, which can cause anything from liver failure to cancer, just from the abrasion alone that it's causing on the inside. So those dogs will hit the water bowl 4 to 6 times a day. Dogs that I feed, Heidi goes and drinks water maybe once in the day.
Are you surprised in the past year or so with more and more people coming to you talking about the digestive problems they're having with their pets?
Oh, I'm not surprised.
You're not?
I haven't been surprised for the 13, 14 years I've been doing this.
Okay.
Is that it's only a matter of time until everybody realizes that these dogs should be living 20 years.
Okay.
A horse lives 40 years.
Okay.
Because it can only eat what it's supposed to, whereas we're the ones that are giving them their food. They don't make that choice. We do.
Right.
So you got to kind of think, ahead of the game a little bit. What were they eating before we got here? We all know that once the humans get into it, it's messed up.
Right.
So, as we were talking about before, dog food's made out of convenience for us.
Right.
So if you're doing things at home, I applaud people for that, but there's a way to do it. You don't, take food from your table with all the sauces and the seasonings on it. They don't need that. You
Like
can
gravies and stuff?
Don't need gravy.
Oh, God.
Over-salting can cause things like seizures.
Ooh.
So that's, they cause neurological disorders. Now, the animal needs salt in its diet, but it doesn't need to be added. There's natural salts in a little bit of everything.
Okay, now, if I go to the store and I'm looking and I see all this line of food to eat, is there certain things you'd be looking at in the labels to help you pick which is healthy for your dog and which is not?
Think about it like a caveman would.
Okay.
What was Cleopatra feeding her dogs? Other than slaves, what was she feeding her dogs? So it was raw meats,
Okay.
raw vegetables, which were pertinent to her area, or
Okay.
the area where the dog is usually from,
Okay.
and some fruits. You know, fruits like grapes and that are high in sugar are not good.
Okay.
But things like, you know, we'll even take berries, like cranberries, great for the urinary tract.
Oh.
If you have a dog that's got stones, they need that diuretic, so that's going to help them.
Uh-huh. Well, this is my last question. Is this silly, but should people be conscious of what they give their dog? Like, you know, we know water, but I've heard people talk about they give their dog Gatorade, they give their dog sodas.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Because those are chemicals. And what happens is, and it also happens with food, and it happens with us too. When your food takes hold, and your body's trying to process it,
Right.
if it can't process it, it will store it somewhere.
Store it somewhere, you're right.
So, having said that, you're looking at an animal that is not supposed to eat every day.
Right.
It can withstand starving for over a month.
Okay.
And it stores food that it needs just in case.
Right.
But if you're giving it crap, it's storing crap, which sits and starts to cause not only decaying of the internal organs, but it's going to start storing as fat too.
Wow.
And around the heart, the saturated fats, those are, you know, you got to look at it from the standpoint of what were they feeding before we got here.
Okay.
You know, when you go into the forest, you don't see wolves with thumbs to,
No.
you know, cook rice, you know. I mean, it's a grain.
This is amazing. Oh, gosh, man, I really appreciate it. I know the viewers are going to appreciate this. Like I said, you will be able to find out how to get in touch with Kevin through me, and you'll be able to give me your questions. I'll shoot them to him. I promise you, he'll respond to you. And we're going to have Kevin back sometime down the road because we've got to continue this dialogue with our eating habits and how it's affecting our pets now. So, Kevin, once again, I appreciate it, man.
No problem.
Thank you for being on the show, man. We'll be right back. Thank you.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
Welcome back. As I said on the show before, we will continue to find ways of taking healthy foods and present them to you in ways that you're not aware of in terms of the ingredients. So today we decided to bring a new person onto the show. Carl Black. Carl, good to see you again.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you for being
Glad
here.
to be here.
BKC
Thank
Catering. Last time Carl was on the show, we had salmon and we had chicken. And it went so good that the staff took it from me and ran out. I didn't even get a chance to eat it. That's trifling. But what we're gonna do today now, we told Carl we're gonna do desserts because lots of people come to me all the time asking me about ingredients for desserts, sugars, flours. I don't know that stuff, but I do know the experts. So Carl, let's start right here to the right. What is this amazing dish?
We have a sweet potato terrine here,
Okay.
basic fruit around it, blackberries, and a raspberry homemade sauce, which carry no sugar.
No sugar.
All right. The sweet potato is a diabetic dream.
Okay.
If they eat it.
If they eat it.
Yes. You can look up with your doctors, they'll tell you.
Okay.
Diabetic dream. The oranges with the vitamin C and everything, and the berries, carry the oxygen and all that.
Okay.
Very healthy for diabetics.
Now let me ask you this: in terms of cost, because that's always the issue. People always ask me how much stuff costs. Costs too much, Greg. I can't afford all
In
this.
terms of cost, you go to a fresh market, right?
Okay.
For this dish right here, in terms of cost, one sweet potato.
Sweet
Probably
potatoes,
about-
what? $2?
No, 60 cents.
60 cents. All
Yeah.
right.
Then you got your oranges. You get $3-4.
$3-4.
Yeah. You know? And your berries at the fresh market,
Uh-huh.
you can pick how many you want.
So we're talking about a dessert here that's less than $5.
Less than $5.
And they talking about going to fast foods is better and cheaper.
And
so,
on terms, if you don't want to use the raspberry sauce, get some fresh raspberries.
Some fresh
There
raspberries.
we go.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now let's go over to the left now for a minute.
Oh my
Now,
goodness.
this is amazing here.
This is
Now,
it.
This is one of those dishes that disappeared from the studio as fast as I put it out here. So now tell me about this.
Okay, we got star fruit here.
Okay, start.
Less sugar in the star fruit
Less sugar.
than in the strawberry.
Okay.
And very healthy.
Okay.
Then we going around to the mango.
Okay.
Mangoes are very healthy.
Very.
Carry their own sweetness, own juice.
Okay.
Diabetic dream, you can eat it.
Okay.
Okay. Then we got the banana. No diabetics can eat that.
Yep.
They can eat that. The blueberries, the same with the
Blackberries,
blackberries.
right.
And the strawberries, all that falls into the same category.
Okay.
Now, we just talked about the oranges. Here we go again with the oranges.
Okay.
And it's just sitting there on that fruit, waiting for the diabetics to eat it up.
Okay, let me ask you a question real fast. We often hear doctors tell people that they can't eat sweets because they're diabetic.
But the problem is, they add sugar.
They add sugar, okay.
A natural sugar, a diabetic can eat.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Like the kiwi right here on the side, if you notice it.
Yeah.
Natural sugar stuff.
Okay.
You know?
Right.
You can eat that.
Right.
Any food that a diabetic can eat is the over term that they eat. They eat too much of this stuff. But this stuff right here, you can eat it.
I know like I said, one of the things that concerns me as a nutritionist is that people are always asking me, I don't know how to determine the natural sugar from the unnatural sugars, the good sugar from the bad sugars. So I'm telling them that the sugars that are in fruits are good sugars, correct?
That's a good sugar.
That's a good sugar.
Because that's a natural grown sugar in there.
Okay.
Now, as you go along, you see stuff getting added on, then you have problems.
Right.
You know? You want to stay to the natural sugar stuff.
Right.
The natural starch stuff.
Okay.
You know, like that sweet potatoes are natural.
Okay.
No sugar, it got its own stuff in it.
Now, is there any butter in this sweet potato?
No butter. No butter whatsoever in that
Okay,
dish.
so you use what to cook that? Olive oil?
No. I baked it in the oven.
Oh, okay.
Right?
All right.
Took it out the shell.
Right.
Bam, that's it.
Wow.
I didn't put no oils or nothing in there. Got its own flavor.
Got its own flavor.
Yes.
Now, how much do you think a plate like this would cost?
This right here, fresh market, $6.
$6. Okay. So
And that's two people eating there.
That's two people in there.
Yeah.
This some people can take to work.
Yo, yeah, you can take it to
Midday
work.
snack.
Just put it in a little container. Bam, you in there.
Midday snack. Put it in the microwave. Heat it up.
Yeah,
it's good to go.
heat it up. Leave your
Can you eat
food
it
out.
cold? Can you eat it cold?
You
It's
can
cold
eat it
dish?
cold. You can
Okay.
eat it a cold dish.
Can I put some yogurt with it?
You can put some yogurt with it if it's in your diet.
If it's in my diet, okay?
Yes.
Okay, now, because the concern is that usually with cakes and pies. Now, what have you noticed people make the mistake with cakes and pies? Is it the dressings?
It's the icing.
The icing's what does people wrong, okay?
That's it. You can make a natural cake.
Okay.
And you can use some natural type icings.
Okay. Because that usually people tell me, I don't know, they say, I would assume the icing is what's getting people in trouble with the cakes.
Right. It's a lot of icing and also a lot of people not looking at the labels on the cakes.
Okay. Yeah. These are excellent examples. As Carl just demonstrated to you, they don't cost a lot of money. It just takes some time. Read the labels. Take some time to spend. You can make this at home at any time, very easy at nighttime during the day. So thank you, Carl, for coming out here, man. This is beautiful, once again, wonderful. I'm going to enjoy this once we get off the set. I'm going to take it this time, okay? I want to thank you for being on the show. Now, I would love you to come back in the future.
I will, in the future.
And we want to thank you
I'd
guys.
love to be here.
We'll be back. Thank you.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
That's our show. I hope you enjoyed the information and the guests that were here. I certainly did. It was very interesting. It was very educational. It's information I'm going to be able to take back to my house and use it immediately. And I hope you do the same. Now, if you want to find out more information about what this show or some of the guests, please shoot me an email at foodforfuel.org. Once again, I want to thank DCTV. I want to thank our wonderful guests. Very educational. I want you to go outside and take care of your health. Take back your health. Until I see you again, be safe.